Hey, Coach. So here we are. Glad you guys could make it here on this live. And if you're not, we will be leaving the replay up for a little bit for this week. Basically, what we're going to talk about today is installing the Princeton offense in your practice setting. We're getting ready to move into summer. Everyone's kind of working on your season's ended. We're 2 months from June, where everyone's running their shootouts, their team camps, their internal camps, their skills camps, stuff like that, and everyone's kind of working on the offense and defense and what the strategy that you're going to want to put in. Now, I always like using the summers for basically for a little bit of experimentation for what I wanted to possibly run in the fall, because we lose a group of seniors. We've got this incoming class coming in. Hey, we need to adjust our offense. Now, I'm still going to run my Princeton, but I'm going to adjust it depending on what now the strengths and weaknesses of our program are. But one of the big things we've kind of been talking about and some of the emails, some of the topics coming up are, how do you install the offense? Learning the offense is one thing. And that's why we have this big old thing about teaching you how to learn the offense step by step, how to learn as one of the big parts of the conversation. I know I didn't promote it much to this group, but if you saw anything about the One Offensive Way challenge that we did, when you're choosing your offense, you have to choose the strategy first. And that depends on, one, the players you have, and two, the players you're going to be competing with all season long. So what does your general schedule look like? So choosing the style of Princeton that you're going to run and adjusting that to your players, to your personnel, and to your schedule, that's all one thing. And then going through the X's and O's. Are we going to run low post? Are we going to run chin? Are we going to run point? And then it comes down to, well, how are we going to run that? Are we going to run up tempo? Are we going to run deliberate? Are we going to try to find this middle ground area? Are we going to be patient and then try to score? Are we going to try to attack right away? There's all of these different strategies and tactics that you have to consider when you're actually choosing the parts of the offense that you want to run. That's, again, going to match your personnel. Is going to help not only, again, if you want to run more deliberate, you're not going to run as many scoring actions. If you want to run more up tempo, you're looking for the scoring actions a little bit quicker in the possession. So trying to find the offense, the parts of the offense that you want to run, that's one skill in a set, one skill in itself. The second thing is, how do we install it? And I've got some questions I'm going to pose, and this isn't going to be a very long video, but it's going to be hopefully very impactful. And sometimes if you've seen me do this before, watch it again, because sometimes it has to sink in. It took me over 2 years of this sinking in before I got it. When I was actually coaching, when I was actually running this stuff in practices. So some of the questions you have to ask yourself are, first of all, what sets are you going to be running? Low post, chin, point, open. And I choose these sets. I will choose the first set, because I like starting with at least 2. The first set is going to benefit your best player or players. And then the second set you're going to run is going to benefit your role players as a group. Okay, so that so we can get everyone involved in some way or another. And then we'll have to talk about, how are you going to combine those sets? Are you going to run them individually? Are you going to phase and audible and counter in between them? That's one thing. So what sets are you going to be running? What offense, what strategy? All of that falls right into that. The next tactical thing we need to think about is, how are we going to enter those sets? Is it a direct pass to entry? Is there a dribble entry? Are we waving the guard through, like in the point series? Is it a guard to guard, like the chin series or the point series? Or you can go guard to guard and reverse the ball on the other side of the floor and still run low post. But you have to decide, because if you're running low post and chin, for example, and we throw the ball to the ball side wing, okay, boom, everyone knows we're in low post. But if we throw a 2-pass reversal, all right, everyone should be thinking chin. But you have to be specific about this, because if you also have in, say, hey, we can throw this 2-pass reversal and still run low, but we can run this exact same 2-pass reversal and run chin. Now you have to add something in there to communicate to everyone, hey, when we're coming down, it's low post, and if I throw it left, or if I throw it guard to guard, my 5-man still knows it's low post, and we're just going block to block. Or if I come down the 40, yelling chin, the pass reversal, now my 5-man needs to come up. So these are things that we need to think of ahead of time before we get to the installation parts. Okay, what offense we're running? How are we entering the offense? and some stuff that I didn't write down here, but what overlaps are there going to be? Okay, and how do we distinguish between those overlaps? And that was the example that I had for you there. And then the next thing is, what scoring actions are you going to be emphasizing within these sets and series? Okay, extremely important, because what I'll do is I'll go through the main scoring. Say we're running the chin series, and we come off of the shuffle. Well, I'm going to teach everyone how to score off the shuffle, early, late, post, and then we're going to come off the drift. I'm going to teach everyone shot, drive, driving kick, dribble up, back cut, give and go. Teach everyone that. Okay, but there might be something in there where everyone can run those specific scoring actions, but there might be another scoring action, like we want to come off the drift and go right every single time. But I might go to my best player, my best driver, say, look, sometimes they're going to go underneath this drift. You and only you can rip it through and go back over top of it and stay same side. But realize it's going to be congested, so you really have to look for this. But that might be a scoring action that is available in the offense, but I don't want everyone to run that. So why am I going to spend time in practice repping that specific scoring action when I only have one player who can actually pull it off? Okay, so that's why you have to decide what scoring actions are going to emphasize for your full team. And then what I'll do is I'll pull my best player off the side. Hey, you see how we're doing this? But now, because you are you and you have the skill set and this talent, you can do this. You can also do this. You can do everything we're already doing as a group, but you can also do this. And that adds, and what that does is, one, it cuts down on a lot of practice time, a lot of wasted practice. You don't want to waste practice time. And I'm a very big stickler about time and practices. You don't want to waste practice time. So I'm not going to spend 10 minutes a day working on one scoring action where only one of my 10 players will ever use. Okay, I'll pull that player aside. Hey, try this a couple times. Try this. See what this looks like. Try to go left instead of right here like everyone else does. Okay? And then, or when we're running point and you play opposite, hey, everyone else they're just thinking, get to the elbow, get off the drift. I want you to rip it through and just drive it to the hole. That's a legit scoring action, but only one of my players can pull it off. I'm not going to rep that with everyone, but I will tell that one best player that has the talent, hey, you can go do this. Okay, so you need to know what scoring actions inside your offense, inside the sets and series that you're running, and the counters and all of that, and then you need to say, hey, these are the ones we're going to focus on. We need to get a lot of reps on this so that our role players, all right, can learn how to score and learn how to get their points within the offense. Okay. So, and I just cannot emphasize that enough. Okay. So now next, what are you installing first? So the order of what you're installing, the order of the Princeton sets that you're installing first matters. Okay. So if you're running low post and chin, let's just go low post and point. Let's say we're running the low post series and the point series. Okay, which one are you going to install first? Okay, it's really important to get that down, because if I'm going to install because let's say my best player is my low post, my 5-man in the low post. Okay, and I've got the low post series and the point series. But I'm running the point series because I've got decent guards. And I want to get my guards involved as well so that they just don't crowd my post a whole game and then just take them out of the game in the low post series. So, but if I run the point series first, okay, and maybe we're going to teach the point series by waving the guard through, all right, and we're going to teach point screen away, for example, and we rep that and rep that and rep that and rep that, and then we go, okay, now we're going to run low post. Okay, now let's teach you low post. All right, now the trick's going to be, okay, once you run the low post series, so we throw the ball in the low post, we back cut the point, we circle the D, teach the post to score down there, teach the back door, all of that. Post can't score. The next thing that we do is we throw it to the point. Okay, now we've taught them point screen away. Okay, but now we have to teach them a different way to get into it. Now you could do it that way, but it just depends on what do you want to see first in transition down the floor. Okay, or you also have to think about the mentality of your players, because it is very, very difficult to get guards to throw the ball into the low post. It's very difficult to get them to look there, to throw the ball in there to the low post. So if I'm running low post, I want to teach low post first, okay? Because low post, the way it's kind of designed, it's kind of like a hub. You can get to the point series multiple different ways out of low post, whereas from up top, there's only maybe two core ways that you can get in the point series from up top. When you're bringing the ball across half court, you can wave them through, you can throw the guard to guard, get into the point series. But from the low post series, you can feed the ball into the low post, snap it to the point, get in the point series. Or if that point's not open, you can dribble them back door, get the next player filling to the point, run the point series. Or if the low post is not open, you can snap it to the point directly from the wing, run the low post series. Or if that one's not open as well, you can drive the elbow, which we'll call one time, back dribble, and then throw the guard to guard and get into point. So there's multiple ways to get in the point from the low post series. I want to make sure that I've got, if I'm going to utilize all of those methods of getting the point series, I'm going to want to teach that first. Okay, that's my mentality. So making sure that you're efficient and what are you going to teach first? Does it make sense in the way that you're going to want the offense executed in the game? Now, that's not to say when you're running point that you can just bring it up the floor and wave them down the floor. Whatever you do first, they're going to do most often. Okay, as long as you stick with it. That's why I always teach the back door first, because players already come to the ball, but they never go back door. Never. Sometimes they'll curl, but they never go back door first. So I always teach back door first until they get that. So the order of which you install the sets and series is really important, just like the order of how you teach the scoring action. So if you're running point screen away, first scoring action is the cutter going back door. That's the first scoring action. I'm not going to make the first scoring action to use the screen, shoot three, because I will never, ever, ever get them to go back door again if I don't teach that first. It's just the way it is. So figure out the order in which you want to install the offense. And then this is where the magic comes in. So what method are you using to install the offense in practice? So the number one method that everyone knows and everyone uses, and I grew up as a player, I was taught this way. As a coach, I was taught this way. And then it took me to at least my third year as a head coach before I'm like, okay, I'm doing everything 5-on-0, 5-on-5. What I don't like about whole part whole is the Princeton offense, especially when you look at low post, chin, point open, whatever many combinations of those you're running and all the different entries and all the different counters that you're going to have. If they take this away, we're doing this. If they take that away, we're doing this. We never get stuck and the offense goes full circle. You can't show them that in one whole picture. You can't show the whole thing. You just can't do it. It's too big. Okay? And then when you break it up by parts, I have a real big bone to pick, and if you guys have heard me do this before, I hate installing your offense 3-on-0, 4-on-0, because what happens is when you install your offense 3-on-0, you essentially turn it into a drill. And there are things that your players cannot see 3-on-0. They can't see their two teammates on the floor. You can tell them where the three defenders are going to be, but then they're going to do something, and you're going to be, whoa. If you catch it, you can't do that. Well, why can't I, coach? There's no one there. Even if you do it 3-on-3. Well, but there's two defenders over there guarding those two. But sorry, coach, I can't see those guys. Okay. And what happens is they get good at the drill. Then you get in the game, they try to do things that they can't do. Okay, because they haven't seen that in practice, and they're going to do what they do over and over and over again. They're going to do what you emphasize over and over and over again. Okay, so if you're emphasizing a 3-on-3 drill, and then now we have to do this combination of 3-on-3 drill, so we get this player involved because they weren't on the last one. Now we got to do another 3-on-3 drill. We get that player involved. But what happens is you're only working the parts of the offense 3-on-0 to where the actual action is happening with the ball. So the other pick I have with 3-on-0, 3-on-3, 4-on-0, 4-on-4 is the two players who are never in the drill are usually the weak side players. Those players are not getting repetition filling into the next spot. All right, so that's hugely important. If your players are not, one of the big gripes we have about our offense is one, they don't execute in games, or someone forgets to fill, okay, or someone forgets to cut. Well, usually those are the weak side players who are not getting the level of repetition they need in those weak side spots, because eventually they will become a part of the offense. And you have to make sure that they're getting reps. They have to be getting repetition. Okay, so we do everything 5-on-0, 5-on-5. I never break down the teaching of the offense 3-on-0, 4-on-0. It's all five. It's all 5-man. It's all 5 ladies. All right, it's a 5-person thing, and it may take a little bit longer in the beginning. Okay, but eventually they will not see it's like going through the tunnel. They're not going to see the light at the end of it until they're getting a little bit closer. That light gets a little bit bigger. Then they leave the tunnel like, oh, and now they have the epiphany, and now they see the whole thing. When they see your offense come full circle, they are going to have the epiphany themselves without you telling it. And what epiphanies are is that is what's the right word? That is a key to them understanding it. That is them understanding the offense on their own. All right, if they get the answer on their own, they're going to remember it so much better when we give them the answer. So the other benefit, so the third benefit of running what we call the progression method is that we're getting a ton of repetition. We're focusing on scoring actions as they come within the offense. They're running it in the way that we want them to run the offense, like a quarterback dropping back. They have a progression. It's not like they have 4 receivers running 4 routes and I'm just, which one's open, which one's open. They have a specific order. I'm looking at this one first. I'm looking at that one second. I'm looking at this one third, drop it down fourth, scramble, fit. They have that progression. Okay, so every player on the floor is a quarterback. They need to know what's happening and what happens if that's taken away. And when the ball gets moved, that player is now that is the next quarterback. You just have 5 quarterbacks on the floor at all times. Okay, but using the progression method installation, where we teach everything in order, in progression, and we emphasize the scoring actions that we talked about on the last page. Okay, your players are going to they're going to understand. They're going to get tons of repetition. So first, they're going to learn through repetition. All right, and then once your offense comes full circle and they see how to reset it, or they see how one series phases or counters or audibles into another series, they're going to be like, oh, this is chin. Oh, we did that over here, and now we did this over here, and they came together, and they have the epiphany. They have the understanding, and they did it themselves. They're going to remember it better. So when you get in a game, they're going to execute better. All right, long way to say you want to get them to execute in the game. Do all of this first stuff. Let them learn through repetition first. Hey, you got to have a little bit of trust here that I'm going to get you to. I'm going to bring it full circle. I'm going to get you to the destination. When they get all the way there, boom, light bulb goes off. Hey, oh, I get it. And then you guys see, and I'm asking questions. You see how that fits together? You see what we're doing now? Yeah, does that work? And they're going to be, oh yeah, and they're going to get it. It's really, really relevating. It's just so cool to see when they finally get that. And then what are you doing to maximize reps? Okay, within your practices. All right, this goes all the way back to your strategic skill work. We only teach the skills, and we run specific skill work drills that we're going to actually do in the offense. I don't get crazy on drills. I'm not going to do the I'm Possible Gannon Baker. I'm not going to be teaching them all of this stuff. They're high school players. Those guys are teaching next level, third level, professional level type skills. And when they do teach it to young players, they're teaching the players that are ready for that skill work. I mean, because there's fourth graders that are ready for that kind of stuff, and there's sixth graders, and there's seniors that are ready for that stuff. But most of our players aren't. What we need to focus on are moves and counter moves individually, and then what we're going to do is we're going to show you, hey, this is where this move and counter move actually works in our offense. So our point guards learn how to in and out, and they learn how to in and out cross. When they bring the ball up the floor, hey, I need you to pass the ball left. I need you to in and out left, so that you can come back and cross over and make a good pass and create a passing lane. Okay, so we're going to be very specific about the strategic skill work that we're going to put in. And then we talked about this a few different ways. We're going to be repping scoring actions. So when we get to a scoring action, the first scoring action in the offense that we want to rep with everybody, we're going to rep that for 5 minutes, 7 minutes, over and over and over again. Okay, and then we're going to say, okay, that scoring action is not open. Okay, so this is what happens after that. And now we're going to get to the next scoring action. What's the next scoring action? And once we find that scoring action, boom, we're going to stop right there. We're going to rep that one for 5 minutes. We'll start completely at the beginning, run the low post, snap to the point, play opposite, boom, backdoor's not open. Okay, hit the next player, lift him for a 3, shoot that 3. Okay, now the 3's not open. Okay, now we got a drift coming, catch it off the drift, shoot that 3. Okay, now the drift's not open, boom, pinch it backdoor. Hey man, throw that backdoor pass. We're going to keep going through all of the scoring actions that you want to emphasize. And as soon as you come to a scoring action you don't want to emphasize, that you don't want everyone to run or even look for, don't teach that one. Let that one go by, move to the next scoring action. Okay, but then you might tell your best player, or maybe 2 players that connect well together on the floor, hey, you see that back door? We haven't worked on that with everyone, but you 2 guys, take a look at this, see if you got it. And let those 2 guys, only when those 2 guys, when they work together, can look for that specific backdoor look. Okay, or that baseline drive. Okay, or whatever it is in your offense. Okay, does that make sense? Eli, how you doing, Coach? It's good to see you. And then I actually take this even one step further. So preseason, in the fall, when we're doing our conditioning and our plyometrics and our speed training, we'll do all kinds of cutting work. We'll go right on the gym floor without a basketball. I'll stand up on the 3-point line. I'll clap. I'll yell something. I'll blow the whistle. Boom, and they're standing on the 3-point line. Boom, they just 0 to 60 backdoor to underneath the rim. Or we'll put everyone on the baseline and they'll sprint through the foul line. Just 0 to 60, 19 feet 9 inches. That's it. Okay, then we'll do other skill work where, like if we're running the point series, where I'll put a cone at the top of the key. I'll put a cone at the elbow. We'll sprint to the cone at the elbow. I'll show them how to chop their feet. I'll show them how to reverse pivot. I'll show them how to show their hands. Boom, I'll show them how to cut back door. And then I'll show them how I want to jump. We'll jump up off of 1 foot as high as we can. We'll touch the backboard. And as soon as we land off 2, boom, we jump again. Now we're working on plyometrics. But I'm also teaching them the movements of the point series. Okay, we'll do this with our entire offense before we're even allowed to do any instructing with a basketball. So then once we get in and actually day one start our practices and we teach point screen away, but this is like, it's like their footwork is already there. Right now we're ahead of the game. Okay, so that's something that we'll do when we're trying to maximize reps inside of our practices, outside of our practices, and actually outside of our season as well. So, and then are you stacking inside of your practices? So, and again, this kind of flows through everything we just talked about. So everything we do with our skill work, with our conditioning, with repping scoring actions, is the skill work we're teaching in the beginning of practice, are we doing that again in the offensive part of practice? So I teach slide hooks with our low post players, which is everybody. So everyone does low post work. We all do slide hooks. And then we do reverse slide hooks, and we'll go through progression of scoring moves. But when we get into the offense, okay, when we throw low post, boom, my 5-man knows how to slide hook. They're working on their skill work again. So we've stacked it. So they've worked on their post moves for 5 minutes in skill work. And now we're in our offense, 5 minutes. We're having our 5-minute, we're running low post and whatever, low post cut, low post corner, and they go back door off the point. And now our 5-man is, boom, they're reinforcing that skill work that they just did, and they're doing it again. So they're actually getting 5 more minutes of that low post skill work. And then later on in the offense, when we backdoor a guard and get the guard into the post, and we teach the guard to score in the low post, but we've already done that in our skill work practice. Now we're also doing it again in our offense. So we're reinforcing it. We're stacking our skill work. We're stacking our scoring actions inside of our practice. And then at the end of practice, after we go through our defensive segment, now we're going up transition up and down the floor. Maybe we work on rebounding, and then we go up and down, back, but I'm getting into an offensive set where I want them to execute something that we've already done in the offensive session of practice, and we're stacking it again. And then, 5-man's slide hooking into the post. We're going low post in our transition stuff at the end of practice. Boom, we've already done that twice before in that same practice. Okay, our light bulb's going off. Is this something? Is this helping? Is this making sense? So you can see how I can make claims to say, hey, installing the offense and teaching the offense is actually a lot easier than what you think. And it's actually more efficient than what we can do or what most teams do with most every other offense that they run. Okay, if that makes sense. So that's basically the core stuff I want to talk about, installing your practices. Now, again, I've done this before where I've broken down and actually built out practice plans, and some of you have watched me build out practice plans. But I'm really kind of just talking about the core stuff, and hopefully this is giving you guys a lot of ideas about how to install the offense in your practice. Okay. And if you guys have any questions, pop them in the comments. I think I see Eli's popped a couple up. Say, you notice you're running chin this year that it was tough to practice the offense with all the players on one side, especially with only 10 to 13. Often there was a spot that was empty. Well, here's what I say about that, Eli. So when you're actually in your practices, so Wednesday nights is kind of cool. I am coaching with my mentor, my coaching mentor. I'm helping him coach his his son who's a junior in his AAU. I don't like AAU. I don't like practicing once a week, but we've put in low post, 2 variations, 2 wrinkles off of low post, and we've put in point opposite, playing and then playing backdoor, then getting off of a drift. We put all of this in just like 3 practices. And when you have 10, 12, 13 kids, here's what I say about when you're actually repping it, okay? When you have 10, 11, 12 kids. I would put my varsity team, we would like have 7 or 8 that would play, but I would bring up 4 or 5 JV kids, the best 4 or 5 JV kids, and they would practice with the varsity every single day all year long. Benefits my varsity players to get as most competitively as possible. Benefits my JV players as I'm coaching my JV players Then they go back down and they raise the level of play of their peers. But then when they come back, when we graduate guys and they come back, boom, now they've already had varsity experience. Maybe not game experience, but at least practice experience. But what happens is I'm going to have 5 guys up. I'm going to have 2 basketballs, Eli. First group up, low post screen away, hit the back door. Boom, first group does that. Next group goes in, boom, low post screen away, hit the back door, boom. Now you've got 13 guys. So the first 10 have got it. Now you have the last 3 guys, or guess what? They're going with 2 guys from the first group. Does not matter. I'm giving them 5 minutes to work on that low post screen away back door. 5 minutes. And I don't care what combination of players work with combination of players. Okay, so, but, and what I also tell them is I don't want them to rotate. Hey, you fill the spot, then you fill the spot. Everyone goes clockwise and fills a spot. I say, it's yours. You have 5 minutes. It's your responsibility to get reps in all of these spots. If you need to run the same spot 2-3 times in a row, I'm cool with that. Okay, just make sure that you get reps in all of the other spots as well. Okay, so on ones, I only do it on one side of the floor. If I split them up half over here and half on this court, and I can't watch all of them, it ends up being a disaster. You get a very little repetition. I'm not coaching all of my kids, which that's something I've got to be there. I've got to see all of my kids. Now at the high school level, now if you've got very good assistant coaches that are very good at what they do and they can demand the same respect that you can, sometimes that's difficult to find in an assistant coach with your players, whether a good assistant coach or not. Sometimes it's just kind of a weird dynamic. But put them all on one side of the floor. Then that's why I give them 5 or 7 minutes on one scoring action. Okay, 5 are in. Boom. As soon as they scores it, the next point guard's got the ball, throwing it to the wing. We're in it again. And those 3 that are left over, they fill 3 spots, and I've got 2 players. I don't care if they were in the first group or if they were in the group that just finished. Just pop back into a spot and go again. I don't care. Okay, it's their responsibility to learn the spots. I'm giving them plenty of time. That's my job. I'm giving them time. I'm giving them structure and organization, but it's their responsibility to learn the spots. Okay, they have to become resourceful on their own. Okay, if we do everything for them, it's kind of like earlier. It's like if I tell them the answers, okay, it's going to take them infinitely longer for them to learn and understand on themselves than if they derive it or if they take responsibility, say, hey, okay, I got the spot. I need to go see this spot. I need to go watch this one a little bit. And they're doing all of the thinking now instead of us thinking for them. And that's a big mistake we make. Okay. So all of that said, I do want to bring up one more thing. So I want to actually show you, let me just pop over here. How many of you are coming to Princeton Offense Live? This is the first live in-person coaching clinic that we are putting together. And I am extremely excited about this event. This is going to be a pre-summer event. So if you're wanting to learn the Princeton offense, everything we just talked about in this video, we're going to be doing on the floor with real players. We're working with the varsity boys program and the varsity girls program, and it's going to span about 14 to 16 hours over 3 days. It's May 6th, May 7th, May 8th. And I do have that down here at the bottom, but cannot see it because my camera is covering it. So let's just slide up a little bit. There we go. It's in San Antonio, Texas. And basically we're gonna imagine this, 16 hours. I've got a boys varsity program, a girls varsity program. For the first time out, I'm going to teach the entire offense on this. So you guys, a lot of you have my coaching programs, have seen me do this on the whiteboard over there. Okay, but you've never seen me do it on the floor with actual players start to finish. Okay, and there's so many different combinations of the offense. That's why we're going to teach the core offense first. And then I'm going to go through as many different phases, many counters, wrinkles, audibles, entries, false motions, pressure releases. We're going to go through all the proprietary skill work that is relevant to Princeton offense teams. We're going to talk about simplifying the offense, how we can turn every single series into a continuity. And then we're going to talk about my patent pending progression method of installation frameworks. And we're going to do all of this over 3 days. I talked to Coach yesterday. Friday, we're going to try to go a few hours. I know it's a holiday weekend. It's a Mother's Day weekend, so we are kind of battling that a little bit. But Friday, we're going to go for about 2 or 3 hours. Saturday is going to be a full day. And then Sunday, we're going to go about half day. And when it's all said and done, it's going to be about 16 hours of me on the court with a boys program and a girls program. We're going to do 5-on-0. By the end of the day, especially Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be doing a lot of 5-on-5 situational work. And I think Sunday we might actually have to mingle the guys and the girls because a lot of kids are going to be at church, be at Mother's Day stuff. So we're going to get enough numbers, and we're going to look. The style that I teach the girls is a different. What I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach the girls this, and this. I'm going to teach the boys this, and this. Might bring them together a little bit and execute some stuff 5-on-5. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be. I've never been excited for anything more than this coaching clinic that we're putting on right now. This is going to be hopefully a yearly event. Maybe do 2 a year, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But everything you get is everything that we're going to be doing on the floor. And then we have some bonuses. So when we get back from Princeton Offense Live, we're going to be putting on an event called Princeton Offense Now. And what we're going to be doing in Princeton Offense Now is I'm going to go through the top 20 to 25 collegiate teams and some high school teams who are running the Princeton offense. And I'm going to break down each team individually, everything that they're running, why they're running it, how they're running it, what the strategy is, so that we can, and you're also going to learn all of the different teams running Princeton, so you can go and watch those teams as well. But I'm going to actually break it down in a lot simpler way of what they're running and how it correlates to the foundational Princeton stuff, and then how teams are actually running it. We're also going to be doing a pre-clinic group jumpstart call or Zoom, so we can get on a Zoom and I can go through, hey, now that you're coming down here, this is what you need to be looking for, and you need to be watching for this, and here's some of the little things I'm going to be talking about here to kind of so you don't come down, because what coaches who've seen me do this before on the floor, and there's been just a few, after day one they're so overwhelmed because of everything that they've seen. And I want to be able to help with that overwhelm by kind of giving you what to expect. So that's one of the bonus trainings that we're going to do. And then this is something new that we're just adding. So I'm going to add a bonus hopefully every week until that May 6th, 7th, 8th launch date. And so in this short little video, I've taught you how to break down the offense inside your practice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a training on show you how to install your entire offense in 2 days. Okay, and a lot of coaches look at me and say, that's impossible, you can't do it. Everyone else says it takes you a month, it takes you 30 days to install the Princeton offense. Here's how to install the offense in 30 days. Most of us, especially preseason, in season, you only have 2 weeks to install your offense before your first game. Okay, I think you need to get the offense in as quickly as possible with the maximum amount of reps, and then you can reinforce that through repetition over the rest of the time. So I'm going to give you all of the little secrets that I use to install the offense in just 2 or 3 days, especially before summer. You're coming up to summer. Most of us only have a specific amount of contact days. In Ohio, we only have 10. I'm not going to spend 30 days to install your offense. I'm going to do it in 2 days. Okay, I'm going to show you the little tips and tricks that we do to install it in 2 days. And when those 2 days are over, they will actually have retention. Okay, and they will remember what they're doing when they actually get into their shootouts, their summer leagues, your team, when you go on team camp. They're going to remember the offense. They're going to remember what you do. Okay, and pre-summer and preseason. So once you're in season, this strategy is going to change a little bit. Never got a message about this. Oh, I apologize. I did not get an email out. My son was sick. I had to go pick my son up from school, so I wasn't able to get an email out. But I'll send replay. So if you missed this, I'll send a replay. I'm actually going to leave the video up on YouTube and Facebook. But anyway, so the way that I would install this in 2 days for pre-summer was going to be using one strategy. And the way that I would install this, and I would probably stretch it out over 3 or 4 days in season, but I'm going to show you some of the practice adjustments I would make. And I'm telling you it works. Because right now, I've done this twice before with two varsity boys team and a varsity girls team. I've worked the varsity boys team for 3 days, put in their entire offense. And then after day 2, they actually had a summer league game where they played against some graduates and collegiate players. And, oh, hey, Phil, how you doing? Sorry, it just says Facebook user on my comments thing. So, yeah, definitely. I'll send you guys the replay of this. And this 3-day camp that I did last summer, the boys on day 2, they actually went and scrimmaged some graduates and some collegiate players, and they're like, they couldn't believe it was the best their offense had looked in 3 years, is what the head coach said. We haven't looked this good offensively in 3 years. But they were able to execute it after day 2 in a scrimmage. Okay? And then with our girls, with the girls team that we worked on, that was the big concern that the coach has. Hey, I don't think they're going to remember this. I'm really worried about retention. But it was only the second session. Once we got to the third session on the second day, they were remembering it and they were doing things that we hadn't taught yet because it just made sense. So there's a lot of stuff that really works really well, and if you do it the right way, your players are going to be able to retain everything that you give them. Okay, if you show them the whole picture, and here's a little bit of that trick is if you show them the whole picture, break it down in the drills, show them the whole picture, they're not going to get it because they didn't get the quality reps that they need. If you do it in a progression method style and then make some of these other adjustments that I'm going to show you, then you can install this offense in 2 days for pre-summer, and then every time you go out and play, you're just getting better at it. And then we make some specific adjustments for end season. You can have your core offense installed in 3 or 4 days. Okay, the AAU team that I'm working with, we started out doing pure motion, and then by practice number 2, my Jeff, my mentor, looked at me. He's like, "All right, I'm gonna let you run now with. I want to do low post," and he was, "I want to do low post. I want to do points." So we had those in, and after the third practice, and granted, we have 20 minutes a day per practice. We've had 4 practices, 20 minutes a day. Now they're running low post. They're running 2 wrinkles out of low post. If low post isn't open, we're snapping it to the point. We're running back door. We're coming off of a drift. We're getting ball screens. We're at 4 practices at 20 minutes a day. In the first practice, we hardly worked on it. But the other 3, we hammered it. 3 20-minute practices, and they've had 2 tournaments now, or 2. They should have 2 scrimmage tournaments in their AAU season. They're already executing the offense, okay, the way that we've installed it. And it's really impressive, and it's really working well. So if you guys, and the trick is to get all of these bonuses, you need to come to Princeton Offense Live. Now, you do not have to come in person because we're also going to be live streaming it. So you can fly down to San Antonio. You can come watch in person, hang out with us afterwards. We're going to be having dinners. We're going to have we're going to go to have little events after the thing. We're going to go have dinner together, go out to get these big rooms, stuff like that, hopefully, so we can just kind of powwow and just talk hoops, talk life, whatever. But you can actually rub shoulders with us, in between sessions, before sessions, all of that stuff. We're going to be there, and we can hang out and just. I'm going to be there for 3 days, so I'm at the disposal of the coaches that are there. But if you can't make it down, totally understand it. I don't know if we'll do this continuously because eventually I want everyone to come in person because it's just the best experience. But the second best experience is to watch it online, and we've done this before. We will actually stream the event online. So you can watch it live as we do it in the gym, and you can also ask questions the same. So when I go to the bleachers and ask questions of the coaches, I'm going to have this big 60-inch TV over there where I'm going to see all of your comments as well, and I'm going to be able to answer your questions live. Okay? All right, so what you do is go to PrincetonOffenseLive.com, and I don't have anywhere to type it in here, but go to PrincetonOffenseLive.com. The ticket's $197. Here in a couple weeks, the ticket price is going to go up because it's going to be more expensive for us to rush order for T-shirts and stuff like that we're getting. And I want you to get in as soon as possible because depending on how many coaches are coming, depends on all the extra stuff that I can do. If I know that I've got this many coaches coming, I can only do this amount of stuff, extra stuff. If I know I get this amount of coaches coming, I can do a lot of extra stuff and provide more value in a lot of different ways. So go to PrincetonOffenseLive.com, get your tickets. We're going to be adding bonuses every week, and then we will have a deadline that I will have to know that you're coming. So we will close this down. It's either going to be in 2 weeks or maybe 3. We just kind of have to depend. But if you're coming in person, I need to know. If you're going to watch online, let me know. If you need an invoice because you can't pay by credit card, or you need an invoice, you can use a school credit card. Send me an email, coach@hoopsindetail.com. But go to PrincetonOffenseLive.com. It's got all of the information. Everything that's happening is on there. Once you get your ticket, we're going to send you an email, and then I'm following up with everyone this week. We're trying to figure out hotels, travel, all of that stuff so that we can communicate and make sure we get everyone to the high school and back. So evidently, it's a brand new high school. If you haven't seen me, I'm going to start posting pictures in the Facebook group. Brand new high school, brand new last year. The facilities are better than probably 90% of colleges in the country. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And then Coach Herrera is actually we're gonna FaceTime here in a little bit. I'm gonna record that, and I'm gonna share that with you guys as well. So go to PrincetonOffenseLive.com. We're gonna have a bunch of bonuses, and then the price is gonna go up in a couple weeks, and then I'm probably gonna close it down the week that I'm traveling because I won't be able to do all the I'm kind of a one-man show right now. I won't be able to do all the administrative stuff. I won't make sure you might. might not be able to get you the links on time if you're streaming live. So there will be a cutoff date, and the price will go up because it just gets more difficult the closer that we get to the event. So there are limited. This is not a course, so there are not technically lifetime replays or anything like that. But there is an opportunity on the page. If you're afraid that you can't make it live that entire time, you'll be able to watch the replays for 7 days and 7 days only. But that's a little bit extra. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit extra, and that's on the order page as well. So go to PrincetonOffenseLive.com. Check all that out. If you guys have any questions, email me, coach@hoopsindetail.com, and I will see you guys. See you guys in the Facebook group. See you guys in the email. I'm going to be pushing this pretty hard over the next 4 weeks because I want this to be the best coaching clinic experience you've ever had. And some coaches that came down to Alabama last year, I got that exact feedback from them. So this is going to be something different. This is going to be this is not a smorgasbord clinic. This is a funnel. Or this is a very focused clinic on teaching you how to run one offense at the highest level you could possibly ever learn it. So that's the goal of this event. I'm really excited to see you guys there. Have any questions? Email me, PrincetonOffenseLive.com. Coaches, I'll see you guys here in a little bit. Thanks.